that what should be our next journey and how we could contribute towards Vikasit Bharat 2047 by proper implementation of this National Education Policy 2020. We all know that everyone believes that soldiers sacrifice and contribute towards our country. Industrialists, they generate wealth, they generate jobs, and they contribute towards development of the country. Now, we as teachers, how we can contribute towards Viksit Bharat 2047? And when I was thinking about on this question, I thought that this NEP 2020 is a wonderful tool. If we implement this NEP 2020 effectively, we will be able to contribute towards Vikasit Bharat 2047. Now, like me, all of you must be trying to implement this policy in your educational institutes. So I do not claim that I'm going to give you some solutions about guidelines about how we should implement this NEP 2020 for Vikasit Bharat. But my motive today is to start this thought process. We all need to think, we all need to come up with the solutions that how we can implement NEP 2020 for going towards effective Vikasit Bharat 2047. So I will share my presentation and we will start our discussion. As and when you feel like giving some suggestion, you can always type in the chat box. And in the end, we will have 10-15 minutes interactive session as well. I will divide, I believe that I have to take 2 sessions from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I believe we have to take 2 sessions. So we will break at 12:30. We will have a break of 15 minutes. And after that, we will rejoin. In the second session, the emphasis will be more on Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. In the first half of my session, we will discuss more about NEP implementation. As Sir told me that the participants are from various disciplines. So in technical institutes, the implementation has begun 3 years before, but this may not be the case in other institutes. So better I'll talk more about NEP implementation in the first half, and in the second half, we will talk more about how Bharatiya Jnana Parampara can contribute towards Vikasit Bharat 2047. Give me a moment. I will share my screen and I'll present first part of my presentation. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yesterday, day before yesterday, in COEP Technological University, we had organized a one-day workshop to discuss about how NEP 2020 will contribute towards Vikasit Bharat 2047. Now we all know that what are the attributes of Vikasit Bharat. They say that when we will achieve these things, economic growth and prosperity, we will say that our country is developed country. So what are the attributes? Economic growth and prosperity. That means when we will have strong GDP, innovation-led economy, and when we will become global manufacturing hub. That is one attribute. The second attribute, they say technological and scientific advancement. We all know that AI is changing our life like anything. So this AI has entered in all sectors. Even AI in agriculture is getting a boom. So drone technologies, green energy, space technology. If we will become leaders into all these technologies, we can go towards Vikasit Bharat. Social development and inclusion. When everyone will get equal opportunities, there will be no poverty, no poor person in our country, and there will be women empowerment. Then we will call our country to be Vikasit Bharat. When we will become global leaders in culture, heritage, and the entire world will look at us as leader in all these sectors, we will say that we are Vikasit. Indian traditions and globally, if our values will be respected, we will say that our country is Vikasit. Sustainability and environment, this is also a buzzword. We know that all over the world, everyone is saying that the development should be sustainable development. For this, we need clean energy, water conservation, and climate action. Next is education and skill enhancement. We should have world-class institutions in our country. We should have more and more research-based organizations, more and more research in the educational institutes. Then we will become Vikasit Bharat. Healthcare and well-being, this is one more sector. Infrastructure and connectivities, smart cities, digital and rural connectivity, good governance, transparent, efficient, citizen-centric governance, global competitiveness and leadership. So all these are attributes towards Vikasit Bharat. We will say that health, education, industrialization, service economy, knowledge economy, infrastructure, technical advancement, quality of life. If we will have all this, we will say we are Vikasit. Now the point is, what is the vision for Vikasit Bharat 2047? They say that transforming India into a developed nation by 2047. To position India as a global leader in economic, social, technological, and sustainable development, ensuring equity and prosperity for all. So today we will discuss each and every word of this vision statement and how this is aligned with NEP 2020. To position India as a global leader in economic, social, technological, and sustainable development, ensuring equity and prosperity for all. Each and every word we will map with NEP 2020 and we'll see that how we can do this, how we can contribute in this. So now we will start one by one. We will discuss one by one. Economic growth and prosperity, how it can be mapped with NEP 2020. We aim at becoming the third largest economy. So for that matter, our focus is on manufacturing sector, digital economy, services, green technologies, and we need to become leaders in global trade. So if we get this technological leadership, economic growth and prosperity can be achieved. Now for this, how this is mapped with NEP 2020? Before I map it with NEP 2020, I would like to ask that I hope everyone has read the NEP 2020 document. How many pages does it have? How many pages document it has? It has been translated in all the languages. The original English translation. May I know the number of pages? I hope everyone has read this document. This is a very small document and we all need as NEP implementers in our institutes, we need
25 pages.
How many? Even right now also you can
25 pages.
I advise you to download this document, search for this document simultaneously, and you may post that document in the chat box. How much? How many pages?
66.
How many pages?
66 pages.
Right. This document is of 66 pages and it has been translated in all the languages. It is available in Hindi, Marathi as well. So we all need to download it. Better, I have printed it and we need to read it. Before that, in 2019, the Kasturi Rangan Committee has presented a big draft. The draft is of 500 pages. So those who are actually implementing this policy in their institutes, they need to read this draft also, because the thought process is explained in detail in this draft. And the crisp version of this draft is this policy, which they published in 2020. So we all need to learn so that we can implement it in letter and spirit. So this policy says that I'll give you exercise also, that I have given 7-8 keywords for Vikasit Bharat. When we will have break of 15-20 minutes, I will give exercise that we have all the modern tools now, AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, and many other tools, which you all must be aware, that using all these modern tools, please find out the statements in the NEP 2020 policy document about these words and help me in mapping. We all together will map these attributes of Vikasit Bharat with NEP 2020. Okay, so that will be exercise simultaneously. You may post it in the chat box. So this NEP 2020 promotes patents, publications, and startups. Also, this policy says that this is a policy which promotes skills. This policy is based on indigenous ways of education. शिक्षा में भारतीयत्व लाना, ये जो मुख्य उद्देश्य है इस पॉलिसी का, शिक्षा में भारतीयत्व लाना. हर विचार भारतीय दृष्टि से किया जाना चाहिए. So what was our ways of education? In earlier days, I mean, when we talk about Indian ways of education, we are thinking about thousands of years of culture. We are thinking about centuries together, the systems which existed in our country. We had Gurukul system. We had systems where the skill-based education was transferred from one generation to another generation. So in Maharashtra, we say that we had that Bara Barlutedar system. So skill-based education transformation was there. The education was transferred from one generation to another. Now what happened that when we were ruled by British people, they broke our education system. They wanted us to become clerks. So the policy, the education system they started in our country was focusing more on theoretical information. They wanted us to know about all the subjects in a small amount. Education which will make us help them, but they do not want us to do some research. They do not want to empower us. So they broke our education system, and this information-based education system where children were taught some information about all the subjects, like some maths, some history, some geography, some language, some information about languages. I'm not using the word knowledge, I'm using the word information. We were focusing on information only. But our system was skill-based system. So this NEP 2020 again wants to go back to our roots, and they want to integrate the vocational education into mainstream schooling as well as in college graduation level, post-graduation level education, so that the employability can be enhanced. The aim of all higher education institutes is to become Merus. They call it as Merus. So what is Meru? Multidisciplinary universities to improve resource efficiency and foster innovation. This multidisciplinary education, we are going to discuss this point in detail in coming few minutes. The universities, the educational institutes also need to become multidisciplinary. This is another change which was there in our education system when we were ruled by other countries, is the education was compartmentalized. The engineering student will learn engineering only. Those students will have no chance to learn about languages, learn about, say, economics, learn about, say, history. Suppose a student of arts will have no chance to learn anything from mathematics, anything from engineering, anything from economics. So all this strong compartmentalization of education was done earlier. Our indigenous education system is holistic and multidisciplinary. All our sciences, indigenous sciences, are holistic sciences. If someone, I'll keep on giving these small assignments. Are you aware about the book written by Bhaskaracharya? The name of the book is Leelavati. The Leelavati book is on which subject? This book is available online. So can someone tell me about this book, Leelavati, and what is its speciality? The translations of this book are available in all the Indian languages. Can someone tell me? Leelavati is about what? Written by Bhaskaracharya? Yes, yes, yes. Please unmute only for answering the question. Only for answering the question, please. Leelavati is a book written on mathematics, and if time permits, I'll show you that how wonderfully the what we call as numericals or sums of mathematics are presented there. It is a classic, in a poetic form, a classic example of book on mathematics written in a poetic form. So it shows the command of the writer on language as well as mathematics. If Ayurveda, it is a holistic, Ayurveda has a holistic approach. If someone's, suppose blood pressure is high and that person goes to doctor of allopathy, the allopathic practitioner, then what that doctor will do? He will monitor, he will find out if the blood pressure is, say, 100, 150, the doctor will prescribe a tablet so that the blood pressure will go down, and it will go down to the normal level, that is 80, 120. But if the person goes to Ayurvedic practitioner, then Ayurvedic practitioner will ask 100 questions to that person about what is his lifestyle, what is his thinking pattern, what are his eating habits. All he will cover all aspects, and then he will try and find out that what is the reason that the person's blood pressure is increasing, and he will try and improve lifestyle as well as all other systems which lead to the increase in that blood pressure. So what I mean to emphasize is our approach, entire approach, indigenous approach, is always a holistic. So that approach is to be inculcated in our thinking. This is what is aim of NEP 2020. So we were talking about MERUs, that all the higher educational institutes should become multidisciplinary universities. That will improve resource efficiency and that will foster innovation as well. Because when we will work in groups, the innovation will be more effective. And we have to shift from rote learning to critical thinking and problem solving. We all, as teachers, know about Bloom's taxonomy. We all know that what are the levels of learning, and rote learning is something at the lowest level, and problem solving, critical thinking are at top. So we have to shift our focus from rote learning to critical thinking and problem solving. They say that we had 32 ways of teaching the children. In Indian culture, we had 32 ways of teaching the pupil, the student. So now we all know that this NEP 2020, they say that it is a learner-centric policy. Earlier, the policy was teacher-centric. How many education policies do we have in India? How many education policies in Bharat? How many education policies were introduced after independence? Can someone answer that? This NEP 2020, इसका नंबर क्या है? इसके पहले कितनी पॉलिसीज थी? इसके पहले आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस कितनी पॉलिसीज आई थी? आप चैट जीपीटी यूज कर सकते हैं, आप गूगल यूज कर सकते हैं और चैट बॉक्स में अपना जवाब पेस्ट कर सकते हैं. पहली पॉलिसी 1947 में हमें इंडिपेंडेंस मिला है, लेकिन पहली पॉलिसी कब आई? पहली पॉलिसी 1947 में नहीं आई. पहली पॉलिसी कब आई, दूसरी पॉलिसी कब आई, और ये तीसरी पॉलिसी है. तो आप पहली दो पॉलिसीज के बारे में अगर पता कर सके तो पता करके मुझे बताइएगा. I'll continue with my point. Earlier, our education was teacher-centric. Teacher-centric means we had a fixed syllabus. Whatever the teacher knows, the teacher will go and will deliver in the class, and students will listen to the teacher. Now, there were, say, 50 students, 60 students in one particular class with different learning abilities, with different IQs, with different interests, with different personalities. We all know that everyone has different style of learning. I'll not go into the details of it, but everyone learns in a different way. So what we used to do is, in teacher-centric education, a teacher will come and he or she will teach whatever is into that fixed structure of, say, curriculum, or as per the knowledge and competency of that teacher. But now we have to shift from teacher-centric to, the aim is to shift to learner-centric, but I'll tell you that why I don't think learner-centric can be achieved immediately. We have to shift our focus to learning-centric approach. So what is the difference between learner-centric and learning-centric approach? Earlier, we had originally Gurukul system in our country. So there was one teacher and very limited number of students, say 15-20 students were there. And so the teacher was the contact teacher-student contact ratio was very less. So as per the speed, as per the grasping, as per the interest of that learner, the education could have been imparted. But now we know that we all are teachers. We know that what is the actual teacher-student ratio, and it is really difficult to understand the learning speed, the individuality of every student that is there in our class, and cater the needs of that particular student. So instead of learner-centric approach, now we have many modern tools available at our disposal, and the students are no more dependent on us, no more dependent on teacher for the information. So the role of teacher has become a role of facilitator. And the approach should be learning centric. At the end of that, we write down objectives. So at the end of that particular course, nowadays we don't call it as subject, we call it as course. At the end of course, the student must be able to understand what were, that capability, the objectives, the outcomes should be achieved. Not necessarily the teacher will teach and the student will learn in the classroom, but using all the means, all the aids of education, it is duty of that facilitator that the outcome will be achieved. In teacher-centric learning, what happens that teacher teaches and the student listen. So, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, there are three ways, three steps of learning. But what happens in rote learning? Teacher teaches and student listens. They do not think on what is heard, whatever they have listened, and they do not implement it. These two steps are not given as much importance as it should have been. So we have to shift our focus from teacher-centric to learning-centric approach. I think I have some answers in chat box. Yes. The first education policy, as far as my understanding goes, was there in 1968. And the second education policy was there in 1986. And so this is the third education policy in 2020, which is there. That's why we call it as NEP 1986 was also a new education policy. That's why we call this NEP 2020 as mostly National Education Policy 2020. Okay. So all these things are discussed in NEP 2020, which will lead to economic growth and prosperity. And how do we implement this? So more and more innovation and research. We need to promote more and more innovation and research. Nowadays, what is happening is the students, when in engineering education, I can talk about, they come in final year, they have a 6 months project. When in the last semester, mostly they have this 6 months project where they can apply whatever knowledge they have gained. Then they start thinking into that last semester that what should be my project. Then they go to the teacher, they discuss, then they do literature survey, then they try and develop that model. And by the time they get some maturity into the concept, their term is over. And so, and the next batch comes and take up another problem, and whatever has been done by the earlier batch, it remains in their project reports and no one revisits it. This policy is not leading us towards innovation or towards publications. So it has been advocated in this new education policy, this national education policy, that the research should start from the first year itself. They have introduced a subject called as research methodology. We teach research methodology mostly at PG level. The subject research methodology is not even discussed at UG level. So there has to be a research culture in our educational institutes, that some PhD students, with them MTech students, and with them some UG students, and multidisciplinary group. If I'm talking about engineering education, then we have restricted our research. Mechanical engineering student will take up problem related to mechanical engineering only. Computer engineering students will take up problem related to computer engineering only, and they will work in compartments. So this is what was the earlier structure. So if we break this structure and make them work in interdisciplinary environment, right from the first year, they enter the institute right from the first year. If they work with their seniors who are already at some maturity level into that particular problem, and that chain continues. I can give you example of COEP Technological University, that one student in 2008 thought of developing a satellite, and he went to the director, sir, and asked that can we develop satellite, and he got the permission, and then they made a team and started working on development of satellite, and many years many teams worked, and the outcome was Swayam satellite, and which was appreciated by ISRO scientists. Even that was launched by ISRO scientists, that when we do the research in continuation, when we do research in multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary teams, the research becomes effective, and the culture needs to be inculcated from the first year of engineering or whatever professional education that person is entering into. So that innovation, we need to give importance to innovation. For this, we need to have some innovation clubs in our institutes, innovation councils in our institutes. Research and patents are to be promoted. The efforts are to be promoted. For that, we need to find out, our research needs to be relevant, practically relevant. So we need to have good interaction with industries, and that interaction should not be just limited to seminars or talks, but a new concept has been introduced in NEP 2020, that is professor of practice, that the people who have spent nice 20, 30 years in the industries are coming down in the educational institutes and teaching subjects, guiding students from research, for research, interacting with them on daily basis, and they will have, in that group there will be some professors of practice, some professors like us, and the students. So it will lead to more innovations and more practical oriented research, and institutes need to provide support for startups. In COEP Technological University, you all must be aware that we have Bhav Institute of Entrepreneurship. You may search on internet, you will get idea about this Bhav Institute of Entrepreneurship, where nearly 100 startups are working. It may be more than that. So this type of culture or facilities we need to develop in our educational institutes, which will lead towards the attribute of economic growth and prosperity. The next is social development and equity. So for Vikasit Bharat 2047, universal access to quality healthcare, education and housing, eradication of poverty, and reduction of inequality. This word is very important. empowerment of women, youth, and marginalized communities. So if all this will be achieved, we will say that we are Vikasit. So how we can map it with NEP 2020? So NEP 2020 says creation of a gender inclusion fund and other inclusion fund schemes for socio-economically advantaged groups, SEDGs, designation of special education zones, SEZs, to target areas with high concentration of disadvantaged population, and initiatives to bridge social and gender gaps in educational access and learning outcomes. Equity and equality are the two keywords in NEP 2020. You may search that how this equity and equality is addressed in NEP 2020. We know that the GER, the growth enrollment ratio, may I know what is the enrollment GER currently and what do we aim in NEP 2020? What is the GER for higher education and what is our aim in NEP 2020? Can someone quickly post in chat box or unmute? Our target is to have this GER go up to 50%. We will discuss what are the schemes in NEP 2020 in coming few minutes that this GER can be increased. Nowadays, you all know that many of you might have gone for that School Connect mission. School Connect 1.0 and School Connect 2.0 were the missions where we all were going in schools, and I had gone to many schools and interacted with many school children, many junior college children, and informed them about various provisions in NEP 2020 so that they can continue their education after the school education, and what are the promotional schemes. So this School Connect 1.0 and 2.0 are the implementation initiatives. Also, there is a wonderful initiative in NEP 2020, that is the community engagement program has been introduced in our curriculum. We will discuss the structure, the curriculum structure in latter part of this, but we all are aware that community engagement program, which was never there, is introduced, and under this we can offer social internships in COEP. What we do is, when the child completes his or her first year of engineering education, into that summer vacation, we send them for a 2-credit social internships where they take up some socially relevant problem and they try and solve that socially relevant problem. They work with some social organizations. They have a mentor at COEP and they have a mentor for that particular social internship there from that social organization, where they take up some work and then they come and present their report in their third semester, and we evaluate them depending on whatever work they have done. The main aim of this community engagement program, or its outcome, is social internship implementation pattern, is social implementation. Social internship is the students should not, the aim of their education should not be only and only their personal growth and personal well-being and their personal property, but they should inculcate an approach of using their learnings, their knowledge for the benefit of society. I'll give you 2-3 wonderful examples of this social internship here at COEP Technological University. Our students work for Lok Biradari Prakalpa, Hemal Kasa, where they developed a mobile app which will help pregnant women to maintain records, their medical reports, and there were reminders given to them for the tests. There were reminders given for food supplements, and that app helped the doctors also to understand the condition of the patient, because many times the doctor who used to treat that lady for earlier visits may not be there for the time of delivery, and there was miscommunication due to inability of that woman to give information. So that app stores all the information, and that app was developed in their local language and in the forms of pictures. So this was done by computer engineering students. This type of projects, few students went to a village and they developed a 3D map of that particular village and handed over it to the people from that village. They installed solar plants. They made them aware about the how they can use solar energy for the benefit of their village. So all these type of initiatives, social internship initiatives, will help us for social development and equity. Empowerment of women part I will address more when we will talk about Bharatiya Jnana Parampara and Vikasit Bharat 2047. What was our approach of women empowerment? We will discuss later. But for the time being, we'll move on and we'll discuss the next point, that is science, technology, and innovation. In Vikasit Bharat, if we want to become Vikasit Bharat, India will be a global hub for AI, space, quantum technology, semiconductors, biotechnology. So, promotion of indigenous R&D and startups. We know that we have a large young population in our country. So we can provide this skilled force, this skilled and competent technical support to the entire world. Developing this technical force, this technical power is the responsibility of teachers. We can develop our students in all these modern technologies so that over entire world we can lead in these technologies. For this, what are the provisions in NEP 2020? Establishment of a National Research Foundation. We all know that NRF is being set up to fund and seed research across all disciplines. We know that OJT is one more vertical added into the curriculum, and a lot of emphasis is given on on-job training, because if the person actually goes for the internship in the industry, he or she will come to know that how that the information, the knowledge they have acquired can be applied, how it is useful, and they will know the practical skills which are required. Because nowadays we all know that whenever companies come for the interview, they say that our students are not industry ready. They know only the theoretical things, but the industry requires more and more skills. So I'm again and again repeating that this policy gives emphasis on skill. So why I'm giving emphasis on this point is there was freedom given to many of the institutes to prepare their framework. And what I have observed is many other subjects are to be introduced due to this NEP 2020. And so we need to cut down few subjects. We need to sacrifice some few subjects to incorporate subjects like language or all these things which I am talking about, social internship maybe, or OGT, maybe value education. So when the time had come to sacrifice few subjects, many institutes sacrificed the laboratories of many subjects, and theoretical subjects were kept intact. So we shouldn't frame our curriculum like this. More and more emphasis should be given on skills. This is a skill-based education policy, and on-job training is one of the most important aspect of it, one of the most important vertical of it. Research mindset, as we had talked about, research mindset needs to be inculcated. Formation of National Education Technology Forum, NETF. We all know that there will be one central apex body which will control the educational institutes, and other the regulating bodies will merge, and only National Educational Technology Forum will remain to guide the adoption of emerging technologies like AI and machine learning. Increased emphasis on mathematics, computational thinking, and hands-on discovery-based learning. We have to have brainstorming sessions in all the educational institutes, that how we can improve the skill part of it. For that, naturally, we need to have equipped laboratories and good interaction with the industries. So I'm saying that role of the teacher has changed. Our role has changed from teacher to facilitator. Instead of concentrating on I will remember some information and will pass on to the students. My role has changed to development of laboratories, MOUs with the industries, finding out opportunities my students for on-job training, interaction with industries. I myself involving myself into some research so that the students can be involved into that research. So all this, our role of a teacher is expanding, is changing, and we need to adopt to this change. We all need to update ourselves on AI and ML. In few years back, 25 years back, when computers were widely, the use of computers was started widely, it was a mandatory thing that everyone should learn how to operate computers. Earlier, banking sectors used to work manually, but they had to learn how to use computers for their day-to-day work. Similarly, nowadays, AI and ML are the new things. No one can escape from this change. We all need, whatever may be our branch, whatever may be our education, whatever may be our business, we all will have to learn AI and ML. So our students will also have to learn, we will also have to learn these new skills. We need to update ourselves as teachers. Now, in what way can we implement this in NEP 2020? As I said that on-job training is compulsory. We have increased internships. Now there will be 3 internships. In our institute, we have 3 internships. At the end of first year, they will have social internship. And second year and third year, they will go for industry trainings and internships. And in the final year, they will do their final year's project, skill-based final year's project. The educational institutes can participate in the government's AI missions and drone missions. ANRF funds are being made available to many institutes. COEP is a spoke institute of IIT Mumbai, where we have received ANRF fund as well as few other grants. We need to sign MOUs. We need to have good interactions. We need to arrange lectures from various industry experts for our students. Co-teaching is a new concept. Many of the institutes might have adopted co-teaching. In co-teaching, some portion of our curriculum is being taught by the industry expert. You all must be aware of it. I'm just revising it. We can go up to 20% of the content from our curriculum. So arranging co-teaching is one. Arranging expert lecture, there is a slight difference between co-teaching and expert lecture. In expert lectures, we invite experts and they talk based on their expertise. It need not to be a part of our curriculum. Co-teaching has to be a part of curriculum, has to be taught by the industry experts. So there is a slight difference, but both the things improve industry institute interaction and contribute towards this development in science, technology, and innovation. So next part, we will we will discuss these things more in detail later. Infrastructure and urban transformation. We should have for to be called as ourselves as Vikasit country, developed nation. By 2047, we should have world-class infrastructure, smart cities, highways, railways, ports, aviation, affordable housing, and sustainable urbanization. Now, I'm again saying that you please, yes, someone has answered correctly. The GER is to be increased up to 50% by 2035. And I think someone has posted the document of new education policy, 64 pages document. I'll recommend that all of you please download it if not earlier, and please read it. Someone please using AI, please find out that for each and every attribute, what is written into that policy. I would like to read the statements about each and every attributes from the policy. I would like you to search for it. Creation of open public digital infrastructure. Here, what we educational institutes can contribute. Expansion of online and digital education platforms. Now, and virtual labs. Had it been an offline class, I would have interacted more. I would like to know that how many of you offer those Swayam and NPTEL courses to your students, because in technical institutions, it has started long back that we offer courses from NPTEL, from Swayam platform to our students, where nowadays we talk about choice-based credit system. I'll be talking more about this later, but they should have a choice for the subjects which he or she wants to learn. And when you offer them NPTEL courses, they can choose a course of their choice. Only restriction what we have to put is, suppose it's a 3 credit course. Then here we have mapped it, that 3 credit course to 12-week course of NPTEL. So I give 2 conditions to our students. One, choose any course from NPTEL of your choice. A mechanical engineering student may choose a course of data science, which is offered by computer engineering department, say from IIT Madras. Not an issue. There should be 2 conditions. One, if we are offering a 3 credit course, then the student should take up a 12-week course for 3 credit, and the course should not be already part of the curriculum. If suppose I am teaching machine design to the 3rd year students here in COEP, they should not select a course of machine design, say from IIT Guwahati, as their NPTEL course. Only 2 restrictions. Otherwise, they can choose any course. NEP 2020 says, NEP 2020 encourages hybrid education. What is the limit, maximum limit that we can go for online education in new education policy? Maximum limit, because we know that for these MOOC courses also, as well as for multidisciplinary minors, we can allow them for to go for online education. So what is the maximum limit? I want to read in the chat box that NEP 2020 allows us for that hybrid education. Otherwise, later on I'll tell. So these platforms are to be used more effectively. Virtual labs are there. If now we all know that we all are teachers, that there are limitations for the lab equipments and the modern equipments available in our institutes. So we can make use of virtual labs. We need to make our students find out the virtual labs available and make use of those virtual labs. There are many higher educational institutes who are participating in this project, and they have developed their virtual labs. Then next is a dedicated unit for building digital infrastructure and capacity to ensure long-term relevance. Focus on enhancing physical infrastructure, safe buildings, libraries. Nowadays, libraries are no more restricted to the physical books, but we call them as knowledge resource hub, where all type of e-resources should be made available to our students. Even at schools nowadays, children use online material information available. And how do we implement? We ourselves can create virtual labs. Whatever labs we have developed, if we, by the means of creating virtual labs, we can make them available to all others who cannot develop. And the duplication of infrastructure can also be avoided. Course on digital public infrastructure can be introduced in our curriculum. So all these are our ways to contribute in this, for this attribute. The next is, I don't know why the slides are not changing. Okay. Sustainability and environment. Nowadays, the world talks about sustainability, sustainable development. And this is a buzzword, and we have heard a lot about this. So, active net zero by 2070, significant renewable energy transition by 2047, circular economy. The world talks about circular economy. Again, the sustainability and environment is an issue which can be addressed very well by studying Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, because our culture is a sustainable culture. Our culture basically is environment friendly culture, and we will talk more about this in the later part of our this session. So circular economy, water security, biodiversity, conservation, all these are attributes of Vikasit Bharat. In NEP 2020, they say that curricular integration of environmental education. You might have read the guidelines from UGC, AICT guidelines, that this environmental education is made mandatory. Sustainable development and living and climate change awareness, this is made mandatory. Development of a value-based education system that instills respect for environment. We know that value education is one of the verticals which has been added into this NEP 2020, and many of the institutes might have introduced a course based on value education. Many of us might be attending the workshops on universal human values. This is also made mandatory for us, for teachers, and this needs to be included into this. This is a life skill given by UGC. UGC has given 32 life skills. Universal human values is the essential life skills given by UGC. So, emphasis on developing skills in the fields like agriculture. Climate science and biology to address environmental challenges. Now, how this can be implemented? So how we can implement this in our educational institutes is, we have to introduce, actually it is mandatory, a course on environmental science. I shouldn't call it a subject, I should have written it course on environmental science. We can get our institutes green audit done. Many institutes are targeting to have green campuses. I mean, they ban plastic on their campus, or many times for We have many functions where we use the plastic bottles. So nowadays, many, I mean, what we can say, dignitaries are giving emphasis on using steel bottles or glass bottles for their use. So we can go for green campus, that no plastic bottles or plastic packaging will be made available in the canteens. For drinking water, we can have our traditional ways of providing drinking water. We can carry our own water bottles. We can carry many times, many people carry their own steel glass for drinking water with them. All these initiatives will lead towards awareness about this environment in our students, in our children. E-waste collection drives and many other drives are run in the universities. Many universities offer, in our university also, our students give food and water for birds, and they maintain that system in our university. So all this leads to the awareness about environmental science in our students. So this is one of the attribute. The next attribute we can go towards is governance, good governance practices, transparent, accountable, efficient, citizen-centric governance, Digital India 2.0, AI-driven governance, and e-services. We can work towards awareness for all these drives with the help of our students. And NEP 2020 establishes Higher Education Commission of India as a single multi-vertical regulator. We had discussed this. Implementation of a light but tight framework, autonomy and good governance. The framework is one more attribute, flexibility. The flexibility attribute of NET 2020 can be mapped with good governance attribute of Viksit Bharat. It is light but tight framework. A lot of autonomy is given to the educational institutes, which we need to exercise judiciously. Mandate for transparent public disclosure of all financial and academic information, that is there. Decentralization of governance through school complexes, clusters, and empowered boards of governors. So we can implement all this if we have good governance practices with proper with implementation of all this thought process in letter and spirit. If we understand the thought process behind it, we can implement it in proper way. Cultural and global leadership. If we can establish ourselves as cultural and global leaders in the world till 2047, so the aims are culture preservation. We had stronger role in G20. We are already playing a stronger role in G20, UN, WTO, BRICS, and global peacekeeping. We Indians, again, this point will be addressed in detail when we will talk about Bharatiya Jnana Parampara towards Vikasit Bharat, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We believe, we do not believe, as I said, our approach is holistic. May it be any science, may it be thought process, may it be anything. Indian approach is synonymous to holistic approach. We do not believe we do not believe in compartmentalization. We believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future, guiding global partnerships. NEP 2020 also has same vision to transform India into a global knowledge superpower. We were, and they want us. The main aim of NEP 2020 is to make Bharat as Vishwa Guru. We all know that a few centuries back, the world used to come to our universities, like we know Nalanda, Takshashila. There was many knowledge resources, books. That time books were available, and they say that when those libraries were burnt, they were burning for months together. That much treasure we had, and people from all over the world used to come and take admission into those institutes. Uh, on a lighter note, I would like to tell you one story about those institutes, that nowadays we all give recommendations to our students so that they get they get entry into the foreign institutes. And we all know that the foreign institutes, uh, the outside institutes, do not just look at their CGPA, but they evaluate the overall performance of that student, how that student, if that student has taken up some socially relevant projects, if that student has participated in some hackathons, if that student has participated in extracurricular activities throughout his school life and college life and many other aspects. And they also believe in the recommendation about the attitude of that child from the teachers and many other things. So overall personality they value. So this is not a concept which we need from the Western world. I heard a story that whenever someone wants to get admission into the institutes like Nalanda or Takshashila, they used to come. They so जब आप आते हो तो पहले पहले आप किससे मिलते हो? वो जो वॉचमैन होता है गेट पे, उस वॉचमैन से कोई भी आके मिलेगा और वो लोग पूछेंगे कि हमें एडमिशन चाहिए, हमें अंदर जाना है, हमें इनसे मिलना है, हमें। तो वो वॉचमैन उनके साथ जो भी बात करेगा, और वो वॉचमैन उनसे कहते थे कि ठीक है, आप कल आइएगा, आपको क्या करना है, आपको किससे मिलना है, मैं समझ गया हूँ, मैं कल आपको उनसे मिलवाता हूँ। और वो जो बाहर दरवाजे में जो खड़े थे, वो जाकर के अंदर वो आचार्य को बताते थे कि ये एक व्यक्ति आए थे और इन्होंने मेरे साथ इस तरह से बात की, मुझे लगता है कि ये नॉलेज, स्किल और एटीट्यूड, ये सब बातों का जजमेंट पहली लेवल पे, पहला स्क्रीनिंग तो वहां पे ही किया जाता था, ऐसा मैंने सुना है। तो मतलब ये कंसेप्ट वेस्टर्न नहीं है, ओवरऑल पर्सनालिटी इवेल्युएशन का ये कंसेप्ट अपने यहाँ भी थी। ठीक है। सो विजन टू ट्रांसफॉर्म, तो होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट, मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी एजुकेशन, इसके बारे में, इसकी प्रैक्टिकल जो भी प्रोविजंस है एनईपी 2020 में, मैं अभी नेक्स्ट 30 मिनट्स में आई वुड लाइक टू टॉक मोर अबाउट द गवर्नमेंट गाइडलाइंस। आप सब लोगों ने हायर एंड टेक्निकल एजुकेशन का जीआर पढ़ा है क्या? 4 जुलाई 2023 वाला जीआर आप सबने पढ़ा है क्या? जिस जीआर के बेसिस पे हम सब लोग अपना फ्रेमवर्क, करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क बना रहे हैं, स्ट्रक्चर बना रहे हैं। उस जीआर के ऊपर अभी हम थोड़ी ज्यादा बात करेंगे कि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैसे करना है। अगर आपको इस बारे में, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के बारे में कुछ भी कहना है तो आप चैट बॉक्स में बात कर सकते हैं। अगर किसी को चाहिए तो वो 4 जुलाई 2023 का हायर एंड टेक्निकल एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट से निकला हुआ जीआर है, उसे आप पोस्ट कर सकते हैं सबकी सुविधा के लिए, जो मैं अभी आपको स्क्रीन पे भी दिखाऊंगी। इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन इनिशिएटिव्स, ये अभी हमें कंपल्शन है कि आपको एक्सेल बनाना है इंटरनेशनल स्टडीज के लिए, जहाँ पे इंटरेक्शन बिटवीन इंस्टीट्यूट्स फ्रॉम अदर कंट्रीज नीड्स टू बी improved, needs to be initiated, including attracting foreign students. वो एडमिशन में भी हम सब लोग जानते हैं कि there are some percentage given to accommodate foreign national students in our curriculum, in our education. Facilitating the entry of top ranked global universities. We all know that many universities are setting up their campus in our countries, so that instead of spending a lot of money for getting education from foreign universities, their professors will come down to our country and they will teach the same, they will give the same, impart the same education for which our students go out. It will save a lot of money of our country. Promotion of Indian knowledge system. Again, I need to modify my slides. I have written Indian knowledge system. Nowadays, they do not use this word Indian knowledge system. They use the word Bharatiya knowledge system. Again, there is a lot of debate between this word system and that is parampara and pranali. I'll not go into the details of it. Promotion of Indian languages. Yes, this is a topic of separate talk actually, that many educationists and psychologists, there are many researchers which say that when a person learns in his her own language, the understanding is better. And खूप सारे त्याच्यावरचे डेटा पण देता येईल, एक्झाम्पल्स पण देता येईल की आपण आपल्या स्वतःच्या भाषेत, मातृभाषेत जेव्हा शिकतो तेव्हा आपण जास्त चांगल्या पद्धतीने शिक्षण घेऊ शकतो. त्यामुळं NEP 2020 मध्ये आपल्याला माहिती आहे, पण तो बराचसा स्कूल एज्युकेशनच्या ह्याच्यातला भाग आहे की प्राथमिक शिक्षण हे मातृभाषेत दिलं जावं असं त्याच्यात आहे. विल मूव्ह ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. प्रमोशन ऑफ इंडियन आर्ट्स, Indian culture. Establishment of Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation to bridge global local knowledge gaps. Now here technical institutes can contribute a lot. There are many Indian languages. Like we know that how many Indian languages which have become extinct. Can you give me some examples in the chat box? We know that before Marathi there was Modi Lipi, and we might have seen our grandfathers reading documents from that Modi Lipi, but nowadays very few experts of Modi Lipi are available. And if very few experts, very few people can read Modi, then the information, the knowledge available in those scripts cannot be used. So we know we have to make use of, we have to develop technologies which can translate it for us. So higher educational institutes can contribute a lot here. So just to keep interacting with you all, I just want in the chat box that I know Modi. There was one more lipi, Brahmi. How many lipis can you suggest? Give me some examples of these lipis. Modi, Brahmi. There was a lipi called as Sharada Lipi. Are you aware? In Kashmir and northern part of our country, earlier there was a lipi called as Sharada Lipi. I went to Bhandarkar Institute of Oriental Research, where they have a nice display of all these lipis, and I have seen some documents from that Sharada Lipi there. So Pali, Magadhi, and many other lipis, which we will talk in a later part of this lecture, are there, for which we need to develop some tools. These projects can be taken up by higher educational institutes with language experts and technology experts. If they can come together, these kind of tools can be developed, and the knowledge which cannot be used nowadays, as we are not aware about these lipis, can be used. And promotion of our own languages. Nowadays, you know that there is one institute in Pune, Engineering Institute, where they have started computer engineering in Marathi, and they have successfully one batch has successfully completed their education in Marathi also, and likewise in other states also they have started experiments on engineering in regional languages. We have to promote regional so we have to go step by step actually for this. Because why this concept is opposed? Because we are familiar with some words, some English words, so much that if someone uses the alternative Marathi word, we are not that comfortable with. Like signal. What do we call in Marathi to signal? or Hindi to signal? Someone has told me Gamana Agamana Darshaka Pattika is what we should call signal in our language. So if we use these words, these type of words, the another person may not be mobile, TV, table. These words are, we are so familiar with these words that, and technical words also, I'm giving examples from day-to-day words, but many technical terms we are very much familiar in English language. So immediately if we try and convert and if we write books completely in Marathi, some child is there in the group. So immediately if we transfer all this information into our regional language, it may not be easy for the students to understand. So we have to go step by step. First, we have to use its English alternative word in the bracket, and day by day we can reduce using the English words. Some of the subjects, some of the institutes have started teaching in regional languages like universal human values. These type of subjects are taught in local languages. Nowadays, many times for this implementation, when we fill up the implementation report, they asked whether you have prepared bilingual question papers or not. So we have started setting the papers for few subjects. Initially, 1 or 2 subjects are identified where the questions are given in English and Marathi both. And the students have given choice that you can write answer in the language of your choice. So these ways, Indian languages are being promoted. There is a big drive of writing books, technical books in local languages. You know that there was a drive from NPTEL also that the lectures were translated from English to local languages. There is a big drive started in which every higher educational institute, some of the institutes which are participating are developing lectures on technical subjects in the local languages. We too are developing few lectures in Marathi at COAP Technological University. So these courses will be made available. You all know that many books are published by AICT in the regional languages. So these efforts will take some time to show results, but the initiatives, the movement has started under NEP 2020 to promote our languages, our culture. Now, how do we implement it using the freedom given in NEP 2020? There can be cultural clubs in every institute because we have to focus on holistic development. Multidisciplinary minors, I will go into the details of this concept when I'll explain this. GR, you all must be aware that we need to introduce a 14 credit, minimum 14 credit multidisciplinary minor into the education. It need not to be from the major course. I hope you all are aware about. Yes, someone is saying Kharoshti and Aramic scripts, ancient Indian. 14 lipis, Devanagari lipi. Okay. 14 lipis, I'm not aware about these 14 lipis. If someone can get me list of these 14 lipis, I'll be obliged. I can use it in my next lectures. Anyway, so I was talking about multidisciplinary minor. We know that, I'll give example of engineering education, that minimum 160 credits are required to get degree of engineering. Out of these 160 credits, they say that we need to introduce a course of multidisciplinary minor worth 14 credits. A mechanical engineering student whose major subject is mechanical engineering can take up multidisciplinary minor from, say, computer engineering, or it can be totally different from the discipline, engineering discipline, and he can take up minor as history, he can take up minor as law, he can take up minor as economics, minor as music, depending on the MOUs signed by her institute. The same person can students from the same class can get 14 credit course, different MDMs on MDMs. For that, we need to sign MOUs. Here we have signed MOU for multidisciplinary minor in economics with Gokhale Institute. We have signed MDM on industrial psychology with Jnana Prabodhini. We have signed MOUs with some institutes which can teach, which are experts in the languages, and so on. There are 14, 15 in agriculture. So we have signed MOUs with agricultural universities. We have signed MOUs for languages. On Japanese, we have one multidisciplinary minor. So many MOUs we need to sign. So the role of NEP coordinator is very important as far as the implementation of this policy is concerned, and that person has to facilitate the students of her institute for this. Yes, we talked about MDMs, MOUs. Liberal learning, we can offer liberal learning subjects, maybe whatever, depending on the choice of the students, like all subjects like music, photography, and all other subjects can be introduced under liberal learning. If time permits, I'll share you the list of liberal learning courses that may be available on our website also. I advise or I request everyone to visit COEP's website and visit COEP's curriculum, where I may not be able to cover all the initiatives which we have started. So that will reflect in our curriculum if you visit that website. Yes, introduction of Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, IKS, sometimes called as BKS. Languages, language education. I'll talk about that vertical also that has been added, and it is mandatory that we teach communication skill to our students. As I was talking about the life skills made mandatory by the UGC, and those are to be introduced. Communication skill is a very important skill which we need to incorporate. For that matter, we need to teach languages, because many a times many students with very good ideas, due to this language barrier, they develop some complex, or they may not put up their idea in proper words, and just because it cannot be communicated properly, their idea cannot be utilized further. So for a better person, for a better professional, everyone has to have skill. Language is a life skill. It is a basic communication, both verbal and written communication. If time permits, I'll talk about some of the life skills which are prescribed by UGC and which are mandatory in our curriculum. If time permits, I will talk about those life skills. I have written a book on it also. In Marathi, I have written a book. I have covered 18 life skills in first volume, and I'm going to cover next in the next volume. Anyway, so communication skill is very important. And here in COEP, we have introduced languages like Sanskrit. Even nowadays, they promote teaching Mandarin to our student. There are many job opportunities available in Japan. They are struggling to get skilled people, skilled engineers in their countries. So if we learn, but they have a limitation of the language. Many of the instructions, many of the documents are available in Japanese. So they need people who are technically sound but know Japanese as well. So if we introduce this course, Japanese, they have levels, and they need a certain level to be cleared before they employ any of our student. The salary given is they get very good salary there. So teaching Japanese, teaching Mandarin, teaching German is also helpful, along with the Indian languages like Sanskrit, Marathi, and Hindi. So this is something we have added into the implementation. So the conclusion is a holistically aligned future. Outcome envisioned by 2047, India a developed nation with high per capita income, global manufacturing and technology hub, inclusive social welfare, and strong democratic values and global influence. The value education, universal human values are to be incorporated in our syllabus. That's why NEP 2020 has also introduced value education. We have to stop at 12:30. So in 5 minutes, I'll talk about more on these values. Nowadays, we see that दुनिया में सब जगह वॉर चल रहा है. हर जगह जहां जहां वॉर चल रहा है वहां पे आपने देखा होगा कि टेक्नोलॉजी का बहुत ज्यादा इस्तेमाल हुआ. अभी भी हमने हमारे देश में भी देखा कि टेक्नोलॉजी से लोगों की जान बचाई भी जा सकती है. इफ यू आर एडवांस्ड in technology, only that technology has saved lives of many Indians. Technology is being used by militants also and by military also. So technical education plus values will save the mankind. Technical education minus values is harmful for the mankind. So this technical education or any empowerment plus values is the most important things. You just cannot make them competent without values. Actually, value education is not something that can be that can be imparted just by introducing one subject into the curriculum. Society, families, from everywhere, that value education has to be inculcated into the child, into the youth. And it will be introduced in the school education also. But now, as we have started it in the technical education at college level first, in the institute level first, we have added this subject into the curriculum, and that should be part of our life. And we, teachers, as role models, we should not underestimate. Many times, we do not understand importance of being teacher, and that is also something colonial mindset has taught us. Our country gives highest respect to teachers. Gurus were the highly respected. The highest respect was given to the gurus. But now we have forgotten our own value. Still, we are role models for our children. We all know that when that Macaulay's letter, that also someone can find out on internet and post in the chat box, that person has written that if you want to break this nation completely, you have to break their education system, because just उनके ऊपर आक्रमण करने से उनको आप ज्यादा देर तक गुलाम नहीं बना सकते, क्योंकि उनकी एजुकेशन सिस्टम इतनी पावरफुल है कि वो बार बार आप कितनी भी बार उनको डिस्ट्रॉय करो, वो फिर से सारा फिर से बना लेंगे अपनी पावर. तो अगर इनको तोड़ना है, कंप्लीटली तोड़ना है, तो इनका एजुकेशन सिस्टम है उसको तोड़ना पड़ेगा. और इसके लिए मैकॉले ने स्ट्रेटेजिकली एजुकेशन सिस्टम को तोड़ा. तो अगर हमें इसको फिर से बनाना है, फिर से हमें विकसित राष्ट्र बनना है, तो हमें शिक्षक का सम्मान फिर से वापस देना पड़ेगा. तो मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि शिक्षक का सम्मान हो और शिक्षक भी सम्माननीय हो. हमें खुद को भी हमें उस तरह से बनाना पड़ेगा. हम रोल मॉडल है बच्चों के लिए, ये समझना पड़ेगा. और इससे ये वैल्यू एजुकेशन, ये सब ऑटोमेटिकली ये सब होता रहेगा, बनता रहेगा. तो with this, actually I wanted to discuss, maybe we will continue in the second part, this GR first, and then we can talk about Indian knowledge system. So in the next, by the time you can take a break, you can quickly have your lunch. We cannot afford to have break of more than 15 minutes. After that, we will start discussing this Shasan Nirnay GR, which is about NEP 2020 of 4th July 2023. Have this PDF ready with you. We will start discussing this subject. The recording may please be paused for next 15 minutes. Thank you for your patient listening. Please have your lunch peacefully. We will start at 12:45 exactly. And if you have any questions, any suggestions, anything, please post it in the chat box. In the 15 minutes break, I will go through your suggestions. In last 15 minutes, we will keep for discussion. If you want me to keep more time, we can keep more time for discussion as well, because I want to take up questions and more ideas from you all. So please feel free to communicate with me. Thank you. I'm taking break of 15 minutes.
Madam, we have made you a co-host. Now you can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, so quickly we will discuss the government instructions about implementing this NEP 2020 in curriculum, and we'll move on to our next topic, that how Bharatiya Jnana Parampara will lead us towards Vikasit Bharat 2047. In Marathi, we call it as Vikasit Bharat. On all government documents, it is VIKSIT, Viksit Bharat, they call it as. Anyways. So, as this policy aims at, you can read that this we are been discussing that this policy encourages more skill education, and this is meant to make ourselves Viksit Bharat. We can provide skilled force on which is competent in technology, education, and all skill-based education can be imparted to our youth, can serve the entire world. So for this, with this aim in their mind, we all know that there is a NEP steering committee. Pune University's former Vice Chancellor, Dr. Karmalkar, is heading this committee, and Mumbai University's Vice Chancellor, Honorable R.D. Kulkarni sir, has contributed greatly towards these guidelines in this GR. So, yes, we all already have this 4 years course in engineering education, but for other courses, the from 3-year courses are to be made 4-year courses. The 4th year being honors courses can be offered in the 4th year. So we'll not go into the details. We all know that multiple entry and multiple exit is a very peculiar feature of this policy, which will help us to maintain the GR and will increase it to GER, I'm talking about 50%, in which if because of any of the personal difficulty or financial difficulty, if a child has to discontinue his education in between, 3 years breathing period is provided, and the child can take a break maximum up to 3 years and come back. Maybe if the child comes back, some bridge courses can be given to him, her, and they can continue their education. The multiple exit options are possible. More than one breaks are also allowed. This is many times misunderstood, that people think that they can change the institutes also multiple times. It is not that. For your major course, whatever institute you have chosen once, you have to go into the same institute as many as breaks you take within the given period. So this option is not exercised by any of the student so far in our university, though the provisions are made. Also, we need to, whenever the child wants to exit, most of the times we believe that due to some financial difficulty, the person has to go out. So we need to make some provisions so that the student can earn for himself and her family. So some skill-based courses are to be accommodated, and then only the exit option can be exercised. We know that earlier, if suppose someone discontinues the education, say after 3rd year of engineering, then what degree that person had? The person was having only degree of 12th standard with him or her, and whatever information, whatever knowledge he has gained after that, after 3 years after that, was not counted anywhere, but it will not happen after this NEP 2020. After completion of every year, the child will get some degree. We know that for first year UG, the 12th is level 4. 12th is called as level 4. So 4.5 is first year UG. So after completion of minimum 40 credits, after the child earns 40 credits, minimum, maximum 44 credits in the 2 semesters, the person will get first year UG certificate. After completion of another 40 to 44 credits at level 5, he or she will get UG diploma in engineering. After addition of 40 more credits, 40 to 44 more credits at level 5.5, at the end of 6th semester, student will get either BVoc or BSc in engineering degree. At level 6, after addition of 40 to 44 more credits, the person will get BTech. Now this BTech degree is not just BTech in mechanical engineering. Say I come from mechanical engineering. For example, BTech in mechanical engineering. It will be BTech in mechanical engineering with multidisciplinary minor in literature. Say if suppose I have chosen a MDM as literature, then my degree will write BTech in mechanical engineering with multidisciplinary with minor in literature. If friend who is interested in music has chosen music as her MDM, her degree will be BTech in mechanical engineering with minor in music. So there can be different degrees in for students sitting in one single class. So this 14 credits MDM is inside that 160 minimum credits required to complete the engineering degree. Please remember, we can go up to 178. Many of the institutes are restricting themselves up to 160 credits because each credit involves investment in terms of manpower, in terms of resources, in terms of space, in terms of engagement hours and everything. So many institutes restrict themselves up to 160. There are two schools of thoughts. Some institutes believe that we have to sacrifice so many subjects to incorporate new verticals. So better to go for credit limit. So some of the institutes are even going for the higher credits. So that decision has to be taken from the institute point of view, and there is flexibility. But 160 is minimum limit. Next is, this is the general degree everyone will get. It is written after 160 credit. There is another type of degree which a child can get is BE in, say I'm example for saying, BE in mechanical engineering with honors and minor in literature. Now to get this honors degree, the minimum credit requirement is 180. If your earlier, if the regular students are getting 160 credits in your institute, the child who wants honors degree should earn 20 extra credits from subjects of higher difficulty level so that they get 180 credits. Please remember, this is second type of degree possible. We as teachers have to make these type of provisions in our curriculum structure. Third is BTech honors with research and multidisciplinary minor. Now, either these 20 credits for honors can be acquired by learning subjects of higher difficulty levels, or you can acquire these 20 additional credits by completing one research project, additional research projects worth 20 credits. If you complete these additional research projects, you get BTech honors with research and multidisciplinary minor. One more option is you can take two minors, two multidisciplinary minors. One that is compulsory, which is inside that 160, and another worth 20 credits of your choice additionally. In that case, you will get this double minor degree. So these are the 4 types of BTech degrees for which we as teachers need to make provisions in our curriculum. We need to understand this level structure. There is a slight flexibility in how you allot these 40 credits over the semesters over in a particular year, but more or less the credit should be 40, 40, 40, 40. So it makes 160 credits total minimum. Okay, I'll not go into much details of this. You can read this. I have posted this in the chat box, this document. Yes, we have discussed flexibility to move from one discipline to study to another. How this flexibility is given. Suppose, as I said earlier, that if I need to take economics as my minor, then as my institute is having MOU with Gokhale Institute in Pune, I can go in Gokhale Institute and earn 14 credits, which will be deposited in my academic bank of credits and which will be counted for my degree in BTech in mechanical engineering. My friend wants to select Indian knowledge system as minor. So the person will go to Bhandarkar Institute for her 14 credits and will get the credits deposited in academic bank of credits. Upper IDs are given to all the students, you all must be aware of. And so this is the flexibility to move from one discipline to study to another. Courses of their interest in all disciplines. Now we have in COEP, we have started choice-based credit system from first year itself, and there are baskets made available to the students, and students from various streams are selecting subjects of their own choice. So at the end of 4th year, every individual will have a different set of skills and knowledge acquired as per her own choice. So it is a sort of learner-centric policy that the person in the center is collecting credits from various sources, and a different every individual will be a person with different abilities, different skills. This fantastic facility is given to them with NEP 2020. In NEP 2020, we have discussed about multiple entry, multiple exit options, and we have discussed about the degrees that they will get. Now this flexibility, again, I'm saying that there were a lot of confusion that they say that there is a flexibility for learners to move from one institution to another. This is this is restricted for all other subjects other than major. I mean, you may learn value education from some other institute. You may learn languages from some other institute. You may learn environmental science from some other institute, but not for your major. Your parent institute will remain same. Mandatory 1 semester on-job training. We have seen the importance of on-job training in last session. We need to make ourselves familiar with these terms. VSEC, Vocational and Skill Enhancement Courses, IKS or BKS. Community Engagement Project also I talked in detail, which we have introduced after first year of engineering. Horizontal and vertical mobility, MDM, provision of NCQF compliant skill-based courses, internships. Government has started some internship portals also. If not visited, please visit AICT's internship portal, where internships are offered to our students. Credits for co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Earlier, what used to happen that we as parents, we used to tell them that even though you are fond of, say, some whatever, acting or dramas or music or any game, if the child is competent, But we used to stop all these co-curricular and extracurricular activities, and we used to force them to concentrate as parents, force them and concentrate on their studies only. But this co-curricular and extracurricular activities will have credits in under ability enhancement courses, AEC, and value education courses. In COEP, we have more than 50 clubs like history club, philosophy club, literature club, cultural club, robotics, Baha, Supra, and whatnot. So many clubs are there. And all the activities are given credits. The faculty advisor of that particular club will evaluate the performance of that particular child into that particular club, and those credits will be counted in those 160 mandatory credits. So the student, the child need not to stop her hobby for the sake of taking formal technical education. Next is yes, these terms I'll not go into details, but there was a lot of discussion in our institute on 3 words: multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. So I'll suggest that you please Google these 3 words and please try and find out the difference between these 3 words. We have 14 credit multidisciplinary minor, as well as a lot of choice can be given to the child in open electives. The child can select open electives from other branches, so that suppose a civil engineering student selects open electives worth say 6 credits from electrical engineering, it will help him to become a good professional in his future career. Depending on the requirement, a person can select open electives from other branches. The flexibility to switch to alternative modes of learning, offline, ODL, and hybrid modes. That time I said 40% from the total credits, 40% credits can be allowed in online or hybrid mode. This is the maximum limit, 40%. We have seen major subject is also known as core subject. And we know that 50% of the credits, suppose I'm restricting, our institute is restricting to 160 credit, then out of 160, 80 credits must be from that major course. And other 80 are distributed in all other verticals. We have just now discussed other verticals like VSEC and CEP and IKS, and all other verticals will come under remaining 80 credits. 80 credits for ESC and BSc courses, that is related to major ESC and BSc courses. So yes, compulsory multidisciplinary minor, as I was telling, it is worth 14 credits. It can be from engineering faculty or it can be from different faculty altogether. Different faculty means, as I said, it can be history, it can be music, it can be economics, a different faculty altogether. Yes, and these credits of minor subjects shall be completed from the second year to the final year. So many times people start adding it from third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, 5 semesters. Over these 5 semesters, we distribute these 14 credits. The distribution can be different in different institutes. I mean, the addition of 14 can be different as per your choice. Open elective course was 8 credits. It is also to be started in second or third year. And baskets can be offered. These are the open electives offered by mechanical engineering. These are the open electives offered by computer engineering. These are the open electives offered by ENTC and department, and a student can select. But I mean, the person has to continue with that into the same basket. If suppose, sorry, I have decided to select courses from computer engineering, then I will have to select 2 or 3 courses worth 8 credits from the same basket. And when we design this basket of open elective courses, we have to keep in mind that the student is from different discipline, from different department. So we have to build these baskets step by step. First, we have to teach them fundamentals, then the second course, and then maybe the third course. So we have to remember that the students need to get elementary knowledge, elementary information about our branch, and they are from other branches. So we cannot offer the same syllabus prepared for our branch students as open electives to other branch students. We need to frame them separately. Maybe orientation also can be changed depending on other branches. So lot of work needs to be done by the teachers. OE is to be chosen compulsorily from faculty other than that of major discipline. Please remember, mechanical engineering students cannot choose basket of open elective from mechanical engineering. They have to choose it from some other branch. Otherwise, the whole purpose will be defeated. Please remember. So these baskets are to be designed properly. Vocational and skill enhancement courses, VSCC, 8 credits. This is a totally new set of subjects added. These are to be completed in first 3 years. Skill-based courses on advanced laboratory practicals of major skill enhancement courses. As I said, skill courses approved by university or autonomous engineering colleges. Now, ability enhancement courses, AEC, Indian Knowledge System and Value Education courses. This 2-credit course, mandatory course on BKS is to be introduced in the first year. There is a lot of discussion going on about the content and curriculum for this course. We can meet sometimes later to discuss the curriculum, what can be curriculum of this course. But this was the first stage. Now, in this BKS, they have started advocating that even on DT's website, we can find syllabus for polytechnics in which they have included one chapter on BKS in each and every subject. I request all of you to go to the website of Directorate of Technical Education and just go through the chapters prepared based on BKS for all the subjects for all the branches. And we have to do it for our universities and our colleges also. Value education courses. Now in this AEC, ability enhancement course, language, as I said, communication is a skill. It is an ability to express that particular person. So in both English and modern Indian language, they say, but many other languages are also added into this basket. And we can prepare our baskets of our own choice, depending on our requirements. Yes, the focus should be both on languages, that means linguistic and communication skill. Both type of communication skill, verbal and written communication skill is to be given importance. I guess we'll be discussing in detail. Please read UGC guidelines on IKS. I wanted to post that document also. I couldn't find it that time in the break. So please find out, it is easily available on the internet. Value education courses, like as I said, environmental science, compulsory, mandatory, Constitution of India, and some subjects based on digital and technological solutions, as we mapped it with Viksit Bharat that time. We talked about this also, that how these community engagement projects are to be offered. We have to offer internships to give them OJT. Now, yoga, we should not call it yoga. Yoga, education, sports, fitness, cultural activities, NSS, NCC, all will be given credits. Even performing arts will be given credits, and they are to be offered in first year. We can decide our own basket. We have discussed this in detail, that what is the requirement to get the additional degrees. And this is a rough framework of the structure, that what should be the distribution for various courses out of these 160 courses. So for basic BSc slash ESC, we have this 14 to 18, 16, 12. These 18 credits are to be distributed. Then core courses, that is program courses. There are also two categories: program core courses and program elective courses. This is same. Our concept of elective courses, it remains same, related to our major stream. So this also gives some flexibility to the choice-based credit systems. We have discussed that MDM is to be of 8 credits, and open elective can also be chosen from some other branch. So 14 plus 8, 22 credits can be different for each individual in the same class. Some flexibility about the program elective course also, so it makes different combinations. Skill courses, we have just now discussed, worth 8 credits. Ability enhancement courses worth 4 credits. All this comes under humanities, social science, and management courses. Earlier, this was not part of our curriculum. Humanities, social science, and management courses was not part of engineering curriculum. All these courses are new, and that's why there is some struggle in preparing the curriculum and implementation. As we said, as we mapped it with Viksit Bharat, research culture needs to be inculcated. So this research methodology is made mandatory. Project internship, co-curricular courses, all these will make 160 credits. We have to be familiar with these abbreviations, this terminology. Okay. So we have cleared we now know concept, and we will start with our presentation on Indian knowledge systems now, once I'm done with this course. So as I said, generic IKS course is to be introduced in the first year. Subject-specific IKS courses are to be prepared. We have prepared, I'll show in my presentation if possible, that for, we had clubbed few departments, that for mechanical, metallurgy, and manufacturing department, we have prepared one course on IKS. That is main, we all know that we had many proofs that we had developed this technology. We were advanced in metallurgical science in ancient days. So students will learn metallurgical part. There are books available on Vimana Shastra, so that has been introduced into the syllabus for these 3 branches, and a separate IKS course for these 3 departments are clubbed together and offered to them. Then we have clubbed civil and planning department, and Indian architecture, and ancient construction techniques, ancient water management techniques, ancient water purification techniques, and many we were advanced. Indian architecture was also, there are many proofs that we had advanced knowledge of this. So those proofs and those techniques are introduced for those 2 departments. Then for computer, ENTC, and electrical engineering, the mathematics part is more, because they deal with coding, and all knowledge of mathematics is required in many of their subjects. So we have introduced Bharatiya Ganit, and some coding techniques, and many other. The syllabus can be seen in detail for these 3 branches. And if someone wants to know all this, we have prepared a multidisciplinary minor worth 14 credits also. This year, we have offered this course IKS from Bhandarkar Institute to our student. People from Bhandarkar Institute will be teaching this course to the general and basic course to our children. So we too are experimenting and finding out, are in a process to find out the exact curriculum. As our understanding is improving, we are improving. So this will be the process for every institute, that these are radical changes. So we will introduce these changes, we will observe the effect. Many times we will have to correct ourselves, we will have to learn from what others are doing, and the process may be stabilized in few years. So it is perfectly all right that we try few experiments, we learn from our mistakes, and that's why sharing of best practices is very important. That's why I'm again and again requesting you all to contribute, to post your understandings, your information about the topic which I'm discussing into the chat box. Okay, I need to move on to my already. I'm running short of time. What is happening? Why this screen is not moving? Yes. Okay. Yes. So all these things everyone knows, ABC, and these are very common things nowadays. Okay, so I think I'll stop my discussion on this, and we'll move on to how Bharatiya Jnana Parampara can contribute towards Vikasit Bharat. Allow me to take shift from this screen to another screen. Was my screen visible? I was sharing my screen, na? I hope I was sharing my screen. Okay. Actually, now I'll quickly. No, this is not the PPT I wanted to share. This is not the PPT I wanted to share. This is the PPT I wanted to share. Okay, so quickly I'll talk on this because I need to share a checklist with you all about this NEP implementation and Indian knowledge system. So quickly I will go through this presentation that this Bharatiya knowledge system, when we talk about, there are many confusions that what it is exactly, and what are the opportunities and challenges in this after introduction of this subject. What are the guidelines? What are the misunderstandings? And who are the experts? Where are the resources? Where can we find books so that we can prepare the curriculum? So these are the common questions which we need to address while dealing with this subject, and why there is a need for studying this Bharatiya knowledge system. So we all know that countries compete to increase their power through military, economic, and intellectual means. And so innovation and IPR, not only military power, but your IPRs and your innovation and your patents, this intellectual power also makes a country powerful. So this makes it is very important to study the Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. Now there are two approaches to look at this subject. In Marathi, some people call Junate Sona. Some people say June Zaudya Marana Laguni. I mean, there are two people on two extremes are there. So what should be our approach? So what I feel is Mahakavi Kalidas says, Purana Mityevan Sadhu Sarvam न चापि काव्यम नवमित्य वद्यम तंतः परीक्षानंतर भजन्ते मूढ़ः परप्रत्यनेय बुद्धि. So in Malvika Nimitra he says this. So what does he say? All poems are not good only because they are old. All poems are not bad because they are new. Good and wise people examine both and decide whether a poem is good or bad. Only a fool will be blindly led by what others say. So we have to take a balanced way. We have to evaluate each and everything which comes in front of us from this Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. We have to find out its relevance. We have to do research on the claims. For that matter, we need to understand the style of writing. The old style of writing is not similar to what we did today, what we do today. Many times you may feel that this is something they have written it to worship a certain god. But if you understand the writing correctly, you will find that it was a pure mathematics formula given into it. Time does not permit me to give examples on that writing style, but we will talk about it some other times. Today I need to map it with Vikasit Bharat, I guess with Vikasit Bharat. So as we have discussed in detail that these are the attributes of Vikasit Bharat, and quickly in next 15-20 minutes, I will discuss that how these attributes can be mapped with Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. Attributes like, we will take one by one. Say social development. We will take one by one attribute and we will discuss social development. So we said that gender equality, I can take only one point from this social development, gender equality. Gender equality is not something we need to learn from West. I'll quickly tell you a story that you all know that there was a debate between Adi Shankaracharya and Mandan Mishra, and Mandan Mishra's wife was judge in this debate, and we all know that she declared Adi Shankaracharya as winner of this debate. So this story itself talks many things about our culture, that the lady was a learned lady. She was, they both of them and everyone else believed in knowledge. She was not afraid to give the judgment against her husband. Can there be any other proof than the equality in the relations? And so many things on this story itself we can have a talk. So anyways, we know that we hear about Gargi, Maitreyi, Lopamudra, who have contributed towards the knowledge generation. And in Marathi, we all read Dasabodh, in which Ramdas Swami says, Purushancheni ashtagune striyasa ishwari dene. Our culture believes in this. We are celebrating Navratra. So in Navratra, we know that, we believe that in our culture, we believe that all the powers are with women. May it be Shakti, may it be education and knowledge, may it be wealth, all the powers are assumed to be with ladies. This is symbolic. But this symbols talk about our culture. So gender equality is to mute the mic. Mic inadvertently. Okay. So let me check the chat box. Okay. Next. So I'll not talk much about this social development. Further, I'll take next point, that is technological and scientific advancements. This can be also a separate topic of separated talk, that we all know that I'll give you a simple example that we have learned Pythagoras theorem, and till a few years back we were not knowing that earlier to Pythagoras, Indian scientist Baudhayan has proved the same thing in his book. So nowadays they have started calling that as Baudhayan Pythagoras Siddhanta. This is one example, but the researchers from Bharatiya Ganit can tell us many more examples, and many books are coming up nowadays with this exercise, and they are proving that much before the things were told to us by Western world, we were knowing these things. As I was talking about that book Leelavati, and many of you might have downloaded, please check that book. You will find that the word Gurutvaakarshan has occurred many times into that book. So what is Gurutvaakarshan? Gravity. And you please find out as exercise that what is the what is the year of publication of this book, Lilavati, and what is the year in which we believe that this gravity was introduced to the world by Western people. So we call Bhugol, we call Khagol. So we know much more about, we were developed in this Khagola Shastra also. There are many books written on this. Even today, many people use Panchanga. Nowadays, it is raining heavily, and there was eclipse recently. So we all know that the dates and the timings given in the Panchanga are matching with the predictions done by the techniques using Western world. And now many people are studying that. Now we study AI, we study machine learning techniques, and what we do is we study data analysis. And what we do is, depending on the data available, we predict certain things. We use in mechanical engineering for condition monitoring also. We predict the failure of machine using these techniques. So, can we believe that these ancient techniques were a sort of these artificial intelligence and machine learning programs where they can predict, depending on the thousands of years of data available, that on certain dates there is a possibility of disasters? There is a possibility. I mean, these were they prediction tools? Research people are doing research on this. Okay, I'll not go into the details, but on agriculture also, we know few years back, Rahibai Popere has got Padma Shri for preserving the seeds. She's a lady from Ahilya Nagar, and she got Padma Shri for preserving the seeds. And the techniques used to preservation were also sustainable techniques. We know that all our solutions are sustainable solutions. Um, and I'll talk about this when I'll talk about sustainability and environment. Okay, culture and global leadership. We discussed that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is, and nowadays you will find that our culture in Corona also, our leadership is established because in Corona we helped many other countries when we ourselves were struggling with this huge calamity, but still we managed to help others. So this indicates that what is our culture and what is our, and that's why we can lead the world. Our yoga is accepted by the entire world now, and when it is accepted by the external world, we too have realizing the importance of it. In Corona also, we were not that affected as compared to the other world, because we have a culture of helping our neighbors, helping our relatives, and so on. That culture has helped us to survive this calamity. So this will also make us world leaders. Yes, environment and sustainability. Our culture is believes in sustainability. Tukaram Maharaj says, Vrukshavalli Amha Soyari Vanachari. So not only human beings, but there are many examples you all can think and find out around us, that we give importance to the trees, to the plants, to the animals who help us, and so on. It is there in our festivals, it is there in our culture. We know that earlier we used to eat on, in South India, they used to use banana leaves for eating, and in Maharashtra we use that we call it as patraval, where we use the पळसाची पानं किंवा अशी दुसरी जी पानं आपण वापरू शकतो, अशी पानं वापरत होतो आपण. तर now, if you compare this with the disposable plates which Western people use and we have started using, looking at them, our solution is biodegradable. One, our solution is chemical free. Many people have studied that if you serve hot food on banana leaves, there are some enzymes which come out of it, which are found in green tea or dark chocolate, which nowadays many the younger generation advocates for, as they believe it is beneficial. Now there is a movement that they tell us that don't dispose your teeth in waste into plastic bags, because the hungry animals try and eat that particular stuff, and that's why they consume that plastic also, and which is harmful for their health. Now look at this solution, that if you use banana leaves or some other leaves for eating, and you just throw them off, if animals eat, that is also okay, not harmful to them. Otherwise, they are biodegradable. It is not harming environment in any ways. So we have to understand our solutions, and we were, due to colonial mindset, we were made to believe that our solutions are not good, and the solutions offered by the Western people are standard, and that colonial mindset has gone into our DNA. Still, our normal temperatures are range from 26 degrees to say 45 degrees even, and still we believe that we should use coat and tie so that to prove ourselves as to look as officers. Or if someone is talking in English, we still believe that that person is a very intelligent person. English is simply a language. If I do not know Tamil, I'm not ashamed of. If I do not know Bengali, I'm not ashamed of, because I think that I have not gone to Bengal, I have not gone to Tamil Nadu. How will I know? But I am ashamed to say that no, I can't speak in English. So this is something, even the white color, this is all our colonial mindset. So okay, anyways, that is a different thing. But what I'm saying is, we need to understand importance of our culture. Why it is important? Because we all know that we have struggled to get patent of neem and haldi. The patent, Raghunath Mashelkar ji could manage the patent of haldi, but we have lost patent of neem. We know that using neem leaves as pesticides, आपल्याकडे अगदी कडुलिंबाच्या पाल्याचं महत्व आपल्याला सगळ्यांना माहितीये. पाडव्याच्या दिवशी त्या कडुलिंबाच्या पाल्याची चटणी करून खातो आपण. लहान मुलांना सुद्धा कडुलिंबाचं पाला पाण्यात टाकून त्याच्या पाण्याने अंघोळ घालण्याची आपल्याकडे पद्धत आहे. धान्य टिकवण्यासाठी आपण कडुलिंबाची पानं वापरतो. आपल्याकडे हे सगळं ज्ञान आहे, but it was not useful for getting patent. We cannot claim that even an illiterate person from our country knows importance about this. We have to have documentation so that our claim can stand in contemporary world. So it is our duty, it is duty of new generation to create documentation about importance of these things in our culture. And when we will make this documentation, that's when it is necessary to study this subject, Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. First, we need to understand the importance of these things. When the entire world started paying to learn yoga and started understanding the benefits of yoga, then we have taken pride and saying that this is our culture. So it should not happen. It should not happen that tomorrow someone else takes patent of our very own things. Now people say that let the world take patents of the things. We believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Our great literature has, even we do not know who the authors were. The knowledge we give open, the knowledge is open, anyone from world can take. But please remember, you may give it free to others will not give it free to you. Tomorrow we will end up paying. If someone takes patent, we have to pay cost for it. And for becoming developed nation, we have to have patents, and we should not pay for other patents. These two, both the things are very important. And to claim a patent, to claim our traditional knowledge, we have to have documentation. And 2 papers written on haldi were useful to claim patent about haldi. So this Bharatiya Jnana Parampara should not be just taught as a theoretical subject. It should come, they say that it is a motive of, this is a slogan of Ministry of Education, IKS department, that we want to take it from library to laboratory. Students should find out a topic of their own choice from Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, and they need to start experimenting. Today morning, from since yesterday, one video clip many of you might have seen. There is a idol of Lord Ganpati, and people are wondering from which material that idol must be made up of. It is water resistance. There are some special magnetic properties into it, and there are many properties. That video is available on WhatsApp and internet, and everywhere it is getting circulated. So, but what has happened? Our culture, as I said, is holistic culture. So you might find it as an idol to worship, but it is a totally scientific proof of your competence in metallurgy that they have showcased in that idol form. So this technology and culture and religion, they all were mixed, and so we got confused and we have kept it aside. But we have to look at it with open mind, that what is the science involved? How can I prove it with today's measurement techniques, with today's experimental techniques? There can be few things which may not be useful in today's contemporary world. We may keep them aside, but there can be many useful things which someone needs to mute the mic. Someone needs to mute the mic. Someone needs to mute the mic. Okay, I'm running towards the end of my presentation, and then I'll share a checklist for the implementation, and I'll stop. So, governance and institutional strength. Quickly, I'll say that we believe that stories of Panchatantra, we get these books and gift it to the school-going children. We believe that these are the books for school-going children. But Panchatantra stories is a scientific document made ready for to make good kings. For 5 princes were taught these stories so that they understand the governance principles like Mitra Bheda, that you should not make bad friends. Mitra Samprapti, how good alliances will help you to gain power. We nowadays also we know that in the countries need good alliances, so that many problems in the international level, can be solved. Kakolukium, crows and all, but which indicate management principles that for small, someone needs to mute the I'm getting disturbed. For small benefit, you should not sacrifice big interest. Please mute your mic. Aparikshita karakam, you have to please relate these things with the international scenarios, that without thinking, if you make some statements, you can be in trouble. This is what it is taught in Aparikshita karakam. You can relate all these things to the international politics, and then please remember that this is not a storybook that needs to be gifted to school-going children. This is something to be learned for good governance. This is one particular example. Even Kautilya Arthashastra, nowadays in management books, they don't teach it. They refer Western books, but we have to refer our own books also, and there are many other examples also. So, and the last is economic prosperity. As we said, we discussed in details that we have to take patents, we have to write research papers, and many more innovations will come out. The science which was lost, we need to regain, and that will lead us to Vikasit Bharat 2047. Now I have last 13 minutes left with me. If you have few questions, I can take up the questions, or I can give you, the slide doesn't change. Okay, so I can give you some checklists for these NEP implementation. I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes to find my checklist from my documents. By the time, if someone has any question, they can unmute themselves and ask the question. Yes. You may pose the question, I'll take the question, or otherwise. Look, there are a few institutes we have already implemented. Then for them, this will serve as checklist. For the institutes which have started implementing this NEP, this can be an action plan. So I do not know about the participants, so you check. Now, the first checklist, the first checkpoint, you may note it down. Whether all teachers have read the 66 pages NEP document or not. The second point, whether our institute has NEP task force in action, whether there are dedicated coordinators who are taking care of NEP implementation, whether our teachers are participating and sharing best practices, learning from others about this NEP implementation. We all should attend the seminars, the workshops, the FDPs arranged by various institutes, the ministries, to update ourselves, because many new concepts are being introduced. Yes, I said we have to attend, we have to arrange the FDPs. We can make a cluster of institutes where, because everyone is sailing in the same boat. So we 3-4 institutes can come together. Some lead institute can lead, can guide, handhold other institutes and implement this NEP. We have to, that as UGC has that scheme where we have nominated students as NEP Sarathis. We have to have student representatives. All these are mandatory things. And when we have to send the report, all these questions are asked. So please note down these points that we need to show, we need to take in the contributions from students also. We need to include students. We have to arrange competitions based on NEP 2020 on various subjects. We have to present, we have to attend the conferences on NEP 2020. We have to write papers. We have to go through the papers written by others. Then NCC, NSS, and various hobby clubs and literary clubs and cultural clubs are to be established, and students are to be encouraged to participate in these clubs for holistic development. And we have to understand about the contemporary skills. For that, industry institute interaction is to be arranged. And we have to have flexible management system to incorporate all these changes. We may have to change some rules, some acts, maybe some in academic councils, we have to get many amendments approved. We have to have a continuously changing curriculum, because as I said, our understanding is improving. We have to incorporate many new things into it. The rules are to be changed. Credit transfer, we have to make many MOUs, and the credit transfer systems are to be seamless. Internships, we have to have very good tie-ups where our students will be getting this internship facilities. Then curriculums, as I said, are to be changed. For that matter, committees are to be formed. Credit-based, choice-based credit systems, many baskets are to be formed, and a lot of exercise needs to be done for that allotment and for timetable preparation. So we have to be very flexible. We have to go a mile extra to incorporate all these changes. And Yes, our assignment NEP 2020 does not advocate one exam at the end of year and evaluate the child based on that exam, but it believes in 360-degree evaluation, continuous evaluation. So we need to have mechanisms for this continuous evaluation. In research, we have to promote research culture. We have to promote Indian languages in research. We have to include more skill-based education. We have to have PhD problems, the research problems, depending on social needs, our national needs, and not based on in literature survey also many times student present in front of us international scenario, but they do not understand our social needs, our social requirements, our national requirements. So that needs to be included in the research. It is also a separate separate topic, that educational pedagogy. The pedagogy needs to be changed. As I said, that we cannot continue with old ways of teaching. It has to be learning centric. 40% online education is to be made available. For that, whatever facilities are to be created at infrastructural facilities and collaboration facilities at institute level needs to be created. We ourselves can think about which are the courses which we offer online to other institutes and how we can become cluster. So these were the guidelines or checklists given by the government to incorporate, to implement NEP 2020 into our education. So last 5 minutes are left. So I believe that I should learn about best practices from your institutes and your views, or you may please feel free to put your views if you do not agree with any of the point presented in this presentation. We can have a healthy discussion on the same. So I request you all to participate in the dialogue for next 5 minutes and then we will stop. Can I see the chat box? I cannot see the chat box. I do not know why I'm unable to see the chat box. Yes, please. You can unmute yourself. And was I not sharing? I was sharing, no? Yes, I was sharing. Yes. Please unmute yourself and you may share your thoughts. Or please switch on your videos. We can take a group photograph. Your views, please. Your views, your reactions, your questions. If you want to share best practices from your institutes. I'll take a photograph. Yes. If there are no questions from the participants, I'm thankful to all of you for attending this long session, long 3-hour session on NEP implementation for Vikasit Bharat. And thank you so much. I will always like to take your feedback. I'll request the organizers to share your feedback with me so that I can improve. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So I'll leave the meeting if
Yes,
there are
ma'am.
questions.
So
Yes.
I declared participant today's session as over. So participant, you can leave this Zoom meeting.